Welcome back to Part of the People. I'm Esteban Martinez. We've already talked about the judge, the prosecutors, and the court appointed attorneys and your role. Let's talk about administrators. There's a lot of other people playing behind the scenes that are actually very important and are very much manipulated by the judges in our cases. Let's talk about the court reporter. It's a player in the game that you wouldn't think is important. However, they play a very important role. Uh, I'm gonna, you know, talk out on a limb here, but I don't think a lot of people really request to buy their transcripts. And if you've had court, if you've been in trial before for anything, if you've had any type of hearing, uh, I think it's very important that we all print out, that we all get a copy of our transcripts. And how do you get the copy of the transcripts? Well, you have to request it from the court reporter. I'm finding out in my own case that it's a lot more difficult than you think it is. And in addition to that, uh, a lot of times it's not correct, or at least not 100% correct. Now, we're paying for these transcripts. They don't just give them to you. It's not. I don't see why it wouldn't be public information, but it's not public information. You have to purchase these transcripts, these records, and and they charge pretty good. They charge about, I believe here in Cameron County it's like $7 a page, which could add up really quick. My the most expensive hearing that I had was, I don't know, about 3 hours long. Cost me about $700 plus to purchase, but easily I've seen some cases that go up in about over $1,000, $1,500 just for the transcripts, and they're extremely important because that's the record of your hearing. And so if anything was done or said during the hearing that was incorrect on the judge's part, or on the prosecutor's part, or on anyone's part, it should be reflected on the transcripts. Everybody should be getting a copy of your transcripts of every hearing that you have. They're extremely important. But I have found out that it is a little bit more difficult than I expected, because a lot of times and I believe this is under the judge's orders, but a lot of times the court reporter doesn't want to cooperate with you. So in my case, the court reporter is Aaron Rodriguez. I know that name's probably not going to be familiar, because honestly, he's a nobody in the court. Nobody really pays attention to the court reporter. Nobody cares. But they actually play a much bigger role than we believe. And so we need to hold these people accountable. In my personal case, this guy, we've been in several back and forth conversations via email, and he's just completely decided not to respond to me anymore, because one, there's a lot of corrections that I need done on my transcript. I paid for those. I paid for those transcripts overall. I paid, I believe, a little bit over $1,000 on the transcripts. Um, that's my money, and so I expect the job to be done correctly. Especially when I have proof that the transcripts are incorrect. What kind of things do you think they could do with the transcripts? Well, in my personal case, I have actually had one scheduled trial date that was out of the blue changed to a status hearing, which is highly questionable. That's a violation of due rights. Uh, and it shows on the transcript, he puts that it was a status hearing, when in reality it was scheduled as a trial hearing, or as a trial. Another thing is that the people present. So at the beginning of the transcripts, it'll show who was present at the hearing. In my case, it shows that ADA from the district's office, Jacqueline Ruiz, and what was the other guy's name? And Andrew Garza were present at the hearings when I didn't see anybody there. There was 3 hearings that took place where no ADA was called up to the podium, no ADA was acknowledged by the court. They didn't speak a single word. They didn't respond to anything. They didn't argue anything. They didn't request anything. And as far as I'm concerned, they weren't there. Um, and the transcript should reflect that. And that's not what it reflects. And so they're doing a lot of things to cover up things that are going on wrong in your case. In my case, if on a trial date the ADA, the state, didn't show up, I think just on those grounds the case would have been thrown out the window. And this might be the case in some of your cases. You know, you need to go back and look at that, because if you had a scheduled trial date and the state doesn't show up to present their argument, then there's no argument. It's not a good case. It should be thrown out 100%. And so things like that you need to look out for. There was certain comments that were manipulated, showing that I said it when it was actually the state that said it. Certain things that I feel that were kind of left out, and that's another thing, is that they don't let us record in a courtroom. The judges don't let us record in the courtroom, supposedly because they have a court reporter, but the court reporter is not doing his job properly. And so, you know, how do we verify that? Well, I've asked attorneys even, what I've asked for help in moving forward with filing subpoenas for the court reporter and his records. Negative, like the attorneys just will not do that, and it makes you wonder why. Why wouldn't an attorney subpoena or want to subpoena a court reporter? A statement by one of the attorneys, I'm not going to mention his name because I think he's not part of this ring. He's not a court appointed. He's a private attorney, but he made it sound very much like no attorney would touch this. That I was moving into grounds that no attorney will touch. And that's one of the things, is that if they're the only ones recording the proceeding and I want to subpoena them, I should be able to. I mean, the law states that I can. And so why won't an attorney help me with that? And so I did it on my own, and then I found out exactly what happens. And really, they won't play with you. And so they've ignored the motions. They've completely thrown it to the very back. They don't want to acknowledge it, but they will. We're gonna move forward with it one way or another, whether in these courts or in federal court. We're gonna move forward with it. And so even the people in the courtroom that you just do not think would play a role in this corruption, they play a major role. The other one is the court coordinator. In my case, court coordinator Patricia Elola, Patty, and she is deeply implicated in all the corruption that's going on in my case. And they act like they're so protected, but they won't be. I mean, in this case, and I know it's hard for some people to believe that even the judge has stripped himself of immunities. You all will see soon that this judge has completely stripped himself of immunities, and everybody playing along with his scheme is completely implicit in the case. So pay attention to all these people, what they do and how they do things. Beautiful way to bring that up and have proof of it is by getting a copy of your transcript. You get a copy of your transcript and you can turn around and put it in your case file, and now it's public records. Now anybody has access to it. So the same way, I've had four hearings that I've been able to get transcripts for. You could go to my case, 24 CCR 00145, and look up those transcripts. They're there. You would need to get a copy of them from the clerk's office, but it'll cost you a little bit, but nowhere near the $700 I paid for them. I guarantee you that much. And you could do the same thing in yours. That's the way you expose the corruption. You turn back around and you put everything on your case record, and now it's public. And they can't. I mean, if they try to, if you have certified copies of everything, and they turn around and try to delete any of those filings or get rid of them, manipulate them in any way, now they're looking at federal charges 100%. That's completely illegal. They can't do that. And so let's hope. Who knows? They've already messed up big time, so they might do that in my case. Who knows? Hope I see you guys next time. If you're a judge, attorney, or prosecutor, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your side of the story. Leave a comment below. I've been hearing a lot more from the public already, and that's great. Guys, I know you all say that, the corruption has been going on for a very long time. Well, it needs to end at some point. And all they need is some people to stand up and hold their ground and push forward against them. And they're all going to fall. Watch. I have a lot of proof that implicates almost everybody in Cameron County, in the Cameron County courthouse, including the DA's office, and including your court-appointed attorneys, which is super crazy. It blows my mind still, but we'll be exposing all of them very soon. I'll keep you informed on what's going on with the case, and watch out with your cases. Print out your documents, every single document. Don't forget about your case records, your case summary. Print that out. Print out each individual record that's in there, and get a copy of your transcripts. If they give you hell, just make sure everything's on email, and that everything's documented. Turn back around and put in the case summary, and that's how you expose the corruption. Hope to see y'all soon.